So here we have the Nike Air Force 3 Low SP, and this is the Nigo white colorway. And this is a sneaker that was originally released in 1988, and I had a pair of these back when I was a kid, and it was the high top version. And I do remember them just before the Jordan 4 came out. I did remember purchasing them. They were like the kid size, like, you know, the children sizes. So I had a pair of these and used and abused them, obviously, you know, going to school and stuff. And then after that I had like the year later the Jordan 4 Fire Red. And this particular one is one of those ones which I got on a restock, and I wasn't sure with the sizing because I've never had a pair of these apart from obviously when I was younger. And I kind of went with my normal sort of Air Force size, and the overall sort of sneaker has got this multicolored type look on it. And then you get the box as well, which is inspired by 80s manga, anime, you know, all that kind of stuff, like Transformers and things of that nature. And you can sort of see on the box, it's got, you know, the Air Force 3 logo, and it's got different pictures. And I think this one represents the Planet of the Apes version they did. So it's got 4 different types of, I suppose, collabs or kind of ideas on here. And then there's also this sort of hemp colour. I think that's to do with maybe the light bone colour, but I know there's 2 Planet of the Apes versions, and then there's 2 of these multicoloured ones. And inside the box you also get the paper, which is really cool, and you get this chenille badge that you can sort of stick on, I guess, on the jacket or some sort of clothing. And then there's also the little tag that you get as well, which is like the I've got the O on here, which is a little badge, which is quite nice. And then the paper's got, you know, the branding on it as well. So overall it's got a really cool presentation, and I can't knock it for that. And, you know, having these like in hand again after a while is a bit of a strange one. And this was originally made as a basketball shoe. I'm not sure who was the designer because I couldn't find that info online, but I'd assume it's either sort of Bruce Gilmore or maybe even sort of Tim Catfield at that time. And this one, you know, being a Nigo collab, it's you know, kind of got that sort of Bape vibe to it. So it's got some patent leather on there, you know, multicoloured hits, which is I suppose, you know, the aesthetic that Nigo normally does and used to do with when he was with Bape. So with the details, it comes in what they're calling white and university red. Obviously you can sort of see there's multicolours on there, but from the description it's white and university red. And as far as I know, obviously again, couldn't find too much info about the tech, but I'm assuming it's the same as an Air Force 1. And therefore it probably has at least a 3/4 length zoom unit in there. And I'd also imagine it's got a polyurethane midsole inside, the outsole being a rubber cup sole. And the materials is pretty much all leather materials. There's a few sort of textiles around sort of the ankle collar area, for example, but apart from that, you know, it's pretty much leather. I don't know if the leather is that good quality, you know, from feeling it. Some parts are, some parts maybe not so much. And the price of these is £145. So with the comfort and sizing, I feel like they're on the firm side, probably even more firmer than maybe an Air Force 1 in all honesty. I think Air Force 1s have a little bit of give to them, whilst this one feels quite sort of firm. And, you know, you get a lot of ground feel as well, and obviously it was made as a basketball sneaker. And also this one is probably has even more padding a lot around the ankle collar, and I do remember as a kid as well, you know, the trainers being sort of very sort of bulky and big, especially the high cuts. So, you know, it almost looks like a skate shoe to me. And because it's a basketball shoe as well, it does have sort of neutral arch support in there. You know, you can sort of see in here, it's got that sort of Nigo insole in there as well, but you can sort of see it's got a little bit of padding around the arch of your foot, which is quite nice, but it's not sort of protruding or like, you know, you get any sort of discomfort from it. And I think probably around 6 to 12 hours wearing time. I'm not sure, like I said, with the toe box leather and how good a quality that is, but judging from the looks of it, I think it will probably crease up quite easy. I'm not 100% sure on that, but, you know, I think for me, it looks like it's one of those ones that will crease up. But the toe box, you know, around the pink area, this feels quite nice, but again, it does feel, you know, not the greatest in terms of quality. And I went true to size on these. I think, you know, personally I probably would have preferred to have gone half size up, because with like socks on, my toe comes to about here. I just prefer a little bit more room than most people, but in terms of width, it felt fine. You know, I've had it on foot and stuff, and it's quite a loose fit. And these have really good traction as well, so kind of similar to very, you know, other sort of 80s sneakers really. And you can sort of see it's got this sort of 4-foot radial pattern, and then at the back not so much. But you know, at the end of the day, it sits as a very sort of flat sneaker. You know, got that sort of basketball vibe to it. So with the look and style, I mean, it's got multi-colours on there, and what I will say, on the photos online, it does look kind of garish, but I think when you see it in person, it feels slightly more sort of pared down, especially the pink colours, because I'm not too much of a fan of like sneakers with pink on them. But with this one, it's a lighter pink, so you don't notice it too much. It kind of sort of blends in with the white a bit as well. So, but obviously, you know, you've got the green, yellow, blue, and red, which kind of makes it feel like an eBay sneaker in a way as well. But, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't feel too bad when you have it on feet, in my opinion. But obviously, you know, it's not for everyone. And, you know, it's got the Air Force 3 sort of retro styling. So, you know, it's very much a sort of heavy, you know, basketball shoe from, you know, from the 80s. And it's going to be pretty much similar to all the other ones. And what I like about this one is got sort of the Nigo force on the back. This feels like quite, you know, sort of good quality in terms of how they've done it. And then the other one has the Nike Air logo on the back, which is really nice, and it's got the metallic sort of look to it. And I also like the tongue details as well. So on one of them you have this Air Force, which I remember as a kid, you know, with the basketball on it, and then you also got the other one with Nigo in it, and this has like a nice sort of suede material on the tongue as well. And I think these are sort of more autumn winter sneakers. Like I said, they're a bit bulky, a bit heavy, probably more chunkier looking than maybe even an Air Force One, in all honesty. And it's a casual wear sneaker. I think you can dress these up smart. Like I said, they look very sort of sporty, especially this colourway as well. I'm hoping Nike, you know, sort of releases other colourways back, you know, that released in the 80s. That would be awesome, especially the Escape colourway. And it comes with like these white laces. There's no other extra laces in there, but you know, you can go with any of the options like pink, blue, red, green, yellow. You know, you can sort of pick your choice as well, so to match up. So with the final thoughts, I do like the materials on there in general. I think the mix of materials, not so much the quality. I think it's quite cool because it's using sort of patent leather, you know, kind of, I suppose, sparingly on the blue here, and then you've got some suede materials, and then the leather panels along the mudguard area, for example, which kind of almost feels nubucky. And the overall sort of storytelling. So when these were launched on the sneakers app, you saw like there's like a little mini cartoon. Kind of looks more from the 80s and inspired by sort of Transformers and sort of anime. And just the overall presentation of the box, as you can sort of see, the box, you know, had a lot of thought process put into it, and it's covering sort of, you know, 4 different the pack of these particular sneakers. And it's got a full length air unit in there as far as I know, or a 3/4 length air unit. So that's what I'm going to go with, because that's what the Air Force is known for. In terms of cons, I think the comfort, obviously it's quite sort of bulky shoe on foot, so do expect that. And you know, it does feel similar to an Air Force One, but I think the Air Force One is probably slightly more comfortable on foot. So with the ratings, I'm going to give the look and style a 4 out of 5. I don't believe, compared to the other sneakers that are released in 2024, I think this is nice, but I don't believe it's that is one that you need to have in to go out and buy, unless you're sort of a fan of Air Force 3 and a fan of Nigo. And the comfort, I'm going to give it a 4. It's not like 3, you know, it's not dunk level. It's actually better than that, so it's more like an SB type feel to it, I guess, in between sort of an SB and an Air Force One. And the quality, I only give that a 5. The reason being is just the overall packaging, not so much the materials, it's just how it's been presented, so that's the reason why I've given it a 5. And the pricing, I think maybe because it's, even though it's a collab, it's quite an old sneaker, not much tech in there. So I prefer if it was sort of priced more sort of the Air Force One level, around the sort of the £125 mark. And that's why overall I give the sneaker a 4 out of 5. I think it's a cool sneaker, and definitely if you're interested in the Nigo history and also the Air Force 3, then it's definitely a good one to sort of pick up. But I think for me, I'd rather sort of wait for the more GR colorways to come out, because I just think they'll be a bit more neutral and easy to wear, if they do anyway.